Which word of the day? And today's word is Enochian. Adjective. Enochian magic is a system of Renaissance magic that involved a range of rituals and ceremonies designed to contact angelic and other spiritual entities. These practices aimed to harness the energies and wisdom of these entities for transformative and practical purposes, and the Enochian language itself was said to have been received from angels.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Can you hear the words of the witches? Yeah, the words of the witches.
Welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published lore of the Charmed universe.
In this night and in this hour, we call upon our fanboy power, bringing education and stupefaction to all of you.
Together, we will use our knowledge and reverence abundantly, but also find ourselves sassy and delightful.
Which is why we will truly be charmed.
All right, here we are, Spellworders. This is Words of the Witches, episode 115. I'm Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
And I'm Sean, and I just love the supernatural and saying back at the manor.
And joining us is a wonderful guest, Cassandra Novelle, Phoebe, if you will, Febois.
Febois! Ooh, hair flip.
Hey, witches, what up?
Nothing much, witch. How are you?
Fabulous.
Yeah, if in case people who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and where they might have heard you before.
Well, I was in this little radio musical that I'm sure nobody has ever listened to or heard of before. So, stop me if you've heard of this, but A Witch Your Heart Makes.
Ooh.
So I played this one little, nobody knows her character named Phoebe Hallowell, so.
Yeah, thank you for being a wonderful Phoebe in our Charmed musical. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was so fun.
I want to quickly do our P is for poll from last week. Are you Team Victor or Team Grams for how the girls were raised, for raising the girls as children? I think people misunderstood this a little bit, but it was Team Victor was if you thought the girls should be raised as children without magic, safe, just a normal childhood. And Team Grams was if you thought that they should be raised, to be witches and embrace the magic and things like that. So what are you thinking, Cassie?
Well, maybe this is just me, but it's kind of like I think they should, since it's in their DNA, it's in their blood, they were going to grow up and they were going to get their powers. They should know how to use their stuff, not just grow up totally. Well, they did kind of grow up ignorant of it because they memories wiped and everything by Grams. Thanks, Grams. But I'm still going to say they should have been raised in a magical household because they were going to have to deal with it someday.
I get that argument.
Yeah.
Sean and I were both Team Victor, but only because we feel like they should be kind of weeded onto it. They need to make sure that they're mature enough to handle magic first and not do something crazy and stupid. And because of the constant demonic threat, they would be attacked as children a lot, which doesn't really give them. I mean, it could be a way to learn fast, but I feel like that's also dangerous. It's weird. It's weird, and I think mostly because Grams was really shitty to Victor, and it's a whole thing. Thing.
Yeah, I it would have been so much better if they would have just told them from little on and prepared them. I mean, because even if they lived with Victor the whole time, they wouldn't know. They would not even be in the house. They wouldn't even have be sitting on top of, the Nexus or whatever,
That will come up this episode, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, they wouldn't have that to connect to. It would be growing up abstinence only and totally not knowing how to, or in Bridgerton, all those girls are I don't know how do people have sex? I mean, they don't even know how babies were made. They didn't even know about sex, you
Yeah.
know? Like, so I feel like grandma could have done them better by actually teaching them about it.
Yeah.
But
That's
whatever.
valid.
Mhm.
Yeah. We were just confused because she was trying to raise them as witches, but also bound the powers, which didn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into the results. We only posted this on Instagram. So Team Victor got 25 votes, 11%. And Team Graham's got 197 votes, 89%. But I didn't give them any context on Instagram. I just kind of said. So people might be thinking about how he was absent while Graham's actually literally did raise them. There's all these kind of factors that people might be thinking about too. So, but yeah, it's a very wide gap.
Yeah.
I'm glad my people won.
And Cassie, you and I had a nice little movie night last week.
Yeah, we did.
Aww.
Yeah, we had a beautiful Shannon Doherty kind of tribute. It was beautiful. I saw Heathers for the first time.
Yes.
I know, so it took me forever. But I knew Jennifer Rhodes was in it, so that was a charmed moment. And then we watched Shannon Doherty's movie Another Day that had Julian McMahon in it. Definitely a made-for-TV movie. Kind of odd and crazy, but it was super cool to see Prue and Cole around season 3 be there.
Yeah.
And so speaking of Shannon Doherty, her podcast is still going on with lots of memorial stuff, which is beautiful. Last episode, I did share a recording that Lachlan Monroe sent us about being on Charmed and how he is sharing memories of Shannon on set, which was super nice. I didn't get a chance to talk about it then because I just kind of threw it on because it was after we recorded. And this week, we got a message from Neil Roberts, who played Rex Buckland on the show in season 1. And I'm going to read his message.
Ooh.
It says, "Hi, Kevin and all at Words of the Witches. Working on the TV series Charmed was an incredible experience that I will cherish." I'm not going to do a British accent, but I'm thinking of him in a British accent now. Incredible experience that I will always cherish. The show's magical world, captivating storylines, and the bond between the 3 Halliwell sisters made it truly special. I'm really proud to have been a part of a show that had such strong female characters. Here we are, 25 years later, and the show goes from strength to strength, a true testament to its quality and originality. Holly, Alyssa, and Shannon were incredibly welcoming. Their dedication was inspiring, making every day on set a joy. Shannon, who I worked with a lot, was particularly supportive and positive. Her passing is heartbreaking. She fought her illness with bravery and grace and left an indelible mark on the show and his fans. Lots of love to you all, Neil. Yeah.
Aw.
That was
Thanks,
nice of
Neil.
him.
Yeah, so nice. Shannon is so loved. That's all I gotta say. I hope she knows how loved she was.
I think she does.
So today, we'll be doing the Book of 3, Section 2, Book of White Magic. Hence the angelic word today. Hair flip.
Yes.
And this was, again, written by Diana Gallagher and Paul Ruditis. We didn't talk about the cover last week, so I just want to talk about the front cover. I read the back cover. How do you like this
Oh
front
my
cover?
God, you failed. You're supposed to be
I
the
did fail.
preeminent Charmed, and you didn't talk about the cover?
I was so excited. So at least we're still talking about the book, so hey. How do you feel about this cover?
It's a good cover.
It's all right.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
nothing special. It's just season 5 promo pictures, and it has like swirlies and like brown and red kind of. It's pretty. Not the most exciting, but it does the job.
I have one complaint.
What?
Because this cover looks so much like the Power of 3 book, which somebody, I won't say who, may have accidentally ordered instead of the Book of 3. So they may have waited 2 weeks to get a book that they already own, which is the wrong book. I won't say who, but it's been rectified because now they have the right book.
So you bought like the first novel, The Power of 3, that one?
Why do you assume it's me? And yes, I did. I mean, that person.
That takes us back to our very first episode. So cool.
Yeah, because all the covers look alike. They always put the sisters and they put some swirlies, and usually they're red.
So this is talking about good magic, all the white stuff. That sounded good. That sounded
Oh my god, you're racist.
I mean, you're saying white stuff. That's something.
I know,
My
that's
gutter
like-
brain went somewhere else.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's what I was like, wait a minute.
that's
Wait a
true.
minute.
Wait a minute.
So the first part of this book, of this section, talks about charmed powers. The general charmed tenets for charmed magic. And this is the magic that applies to the charmed ones as well as their children, Wyatt's. Sean starts.
General tenets regarding the charmed powers. Powers must not be used for personal gain. Something wicker this way comes. The powers do not work on good witches. Is there a Wookiee in the house? Using a new power effectively takes practice. Miss Hellfire. A spell cannot backfire if there's no personal gain. Murphy's luck. Magic to magic. The powers, if temporarily possessed by another, will be attracted to the charmed witch of origin. Astral monkey. The powers do not exist when traveling to a time that predates the acquisition of powers. All Hallows Eve. If the charmed powers are used against each other, the bond of the charmed of the bond of the power of three is severed. The powers are lost until the personal and magical rift between them is repaired. Power outage. Charmed magic can be used to reverse the effects of evil magic without consequences. The importance of being faible. The loss of one sense will cause a charmed one to develop a sixth sense. This ability has always been inherent in the strength of the power of three. Sense and sensibility.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Can you say Phoebe's name again, please?
Faible!
Ta-da! If you, yeah, we came up with that during the comics. So the,
Oh, I love Cassie. We can make her giggle.
and snort. Don't forget snort.
I love the snorting.
Oh, you're killing me. Okay. Oh, I love it. Okay.
So yeah, I wanted to just highlight those quick because those are supposed to be rules for general charmed magic. I will argue some of that later in canonical.
What?
Put that in your canonical hat. I will argue one of them. And then the whole sixth sense thing is an extension of the greater power of three, the power of one. That's when they start having those heightened sixth sense and the stronger powers. So yeah, then it talked about the Sister Prue, Piper, Phoebe, Paige, and Wyatt's powers and how they grew. And then we moved on to white magic entities, where I talked about animals, superstitions, time ripple, other types of magic, and family heirlooms.
Going through this again, I just totally got thrown off by the faible.
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 And we call Puer, Peeper, Podge, and Podge.
Podge. Podge was your fault.
Podge was my fault, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, yes, so Kit being the familiar, being a white magic entity, she's cute as heck. And then she, like, later in one of those episodes, she became a person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't like a pre-existing person. She was just like, good familiar gets to be a person someday, right?
Right. For,
Yeah.
doing their job well and guiding witches and, this is your reward. You can retire. But no, I just become a cat lady for other familiars. So sure.
Mm.
And then they talk about the how they can sense the evil and perceives. She can see Rex Buckland in his astral form, which is nice.
Mhm.
And then talk about superstitions. Most of these were from Fear to Eternity, with the charms and the salt over your shoulder and don't let the devil in when you yawn. Ooh, nasty. Fuck me, Daddy Satan.
Who says I'd let him in my mouth?
And it talks about the time ripple. Very complicated, but it's pretty much what happens in A Witch in Time. How if something that's supposed to happen, like an absolute point, gets disrupted, then a time ripple opens, and people can go in there. They can see what's happening if they look in it. They can travel to different places, go to where the dinosaurs are, or whatever. So there, and then we have other types of magic, where it talks about the Chinese magic, fairy tale magic, which is different, props, and then mythical magic with the eternal spring with the nymphs.
There was like some sort. What was it? When it comes to that fairy tale, like when they were, I think that was Paige was like the
Yeah. Like evil enchantress plus the evil witch with the Snow White.
Yeah. The enchantress one, I think, is that there was some way that it was phrased in here. Sorry, Grandma has to like quick try to read this. No, I lost it. Grandma's brain just left. Grandma's brain left the building. Yeah, I know. I don't remember the Titans, like going back to the fairy magic one. Just above the fairy tale magic, there's the fairy magic used to create a protective shield that prevents the Titans from sensing the elders inside. I don't even remember the Titans.
Yeah, they're the people that broke out of the cave that were attacking the elders in Oh My Goddess Part 1 and 2. They're wearing all the Grecian robes.
Oh.
Meta and Demetrius and all those guys. Yeah. And but yeah, pretty much they had fairies like, oh, they can't sense us here because of fairy magic. That's pretty much all they did. And they also came by to make Paige not be stone anymore. They helped there sprinkle some of the fairy dust on her there. There's this part that's interesting to me. If fairy tale props are used for evil, the tales will become corrupted forever.
Yeah.
Because weren't they used for evil? Didn't evil take advantage and start using them against the charmed ones? So does that mean those stories are no longer like canon or like worthwhile? Do they get erased from history?
Exactly.
I have questions about that.
Maybe that's where my brain was thinking like, oh, there's a hiccup in here. Like how does like the story just changes?
And like it says forever, so you can't even use magic to fix it. You can't reverse anything. It seemed I was a little odd, taken aback by that statement. Even though it is in the episode, it seemed to make more sense in the episode because, they do kind of revert back. Like, here are your props again. Put them back on the shelf. Oh, they're good. Here's your ruby slippers. And then we have the family heirlooms, and it talked about the ring, and thank you for not morphine, Grams's ring, the manor, and Melinda Warren's blessing cup, which I did a clip of me with mine yesterday, or not last week. I did like mine, and there's my Melinda Warren blessing cup. I have 2 of those. Yeah,
I do have an issue with Grams's ring. I have an issue. Like,
talk about it.
So to gain another is to lose yourself. And so when Phoebe puts that ring on, the whole idea would be to like kind of like steer someone away from losing their identity and becoming somebody else, for somebody else. Why on earth did the ring brainwash her into being like 1950s housewife? Why did it do that? It should do the opposite.
It's so messed up because it's supposed to turn you into that to remind you that you don't want to be that. But if you're turned into that without having any concept of that and not knowing that you're changed, how are you going to change it? How are you going to revert yourself back if you're already like brainwashed?
I know. Like that's stupid, Grams. Come on now.
Yeah. I'm going to remind you why you don't like this, but when you're in it, you actually love it. So
Mhm.
it's really backwards. I think she didn't think that one through.
You sure didn't.
All right. So then we go into white magic practitioners. Ooh.
Natalie.
Oh, Natalie. Yeah, we got Whitelighters and their limitations. And don't even get me started about the crazy consistency with the Whitelighter powers.
Mhm.
Especially healing. That's like the most confusing, annoying ones. I'm gonna put this over a glass of water and heat your cup, or like what? Oh, your tea's getting cold. And they have like Natalie. What is that?
Natalie.
House bunny. Natalie.
Natalie. Cinderella.
Yeah, and then they mention Sam and Chris Perry. I love this. Chris conveniently leaves out details of his knowledge about the future, claiming to be only on the side of good. But why did he come back? And what is his plan for Leo? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Because they say that a Whitelighter's identity as a Whitelighter is supposed to be kept secret from their charges.
What?
Mhm.
And in my mind, I did hold that belief for if that charge happens to be immortal, who is destined to be a future Whitelighter. I get that, and I always believed that was something that was stayed true. But if they are assigned to a witch, I feel like that witch should be aware of the Whitelighters, so they know who's there to guide them, who they need to be calling for. Say, Leo!
Mhm.
And maybe that's a rule that's changed, because if you remember, when Leo first appeared, he was like in the shadows, like not telling the witches girls who he was. He was guiding them in secret from the beginning, actually watching them their entire lives, watching them. So
Seems like a general guideline that the Whitelighters don't always stick to. Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They usually stick to their rules, don't they? The elders.
The elders are
Yeah.
Stand up people.
Right, because they talk about how Whitelighters are supposed to be secret, and they were secret for the Charmed ones, but Patty knew all about her Whitelighter. Lots of other witches know about their Whitelighters. It's like, so there's a disconnect between those two ideas.
Mhm.
And they do say here with their powers that Whitelighters cannot heal dead people, animals themselves, self-inflicted wounds, or non-magical ailments. So Whitelighters can self-heal. They do self-heal, but that only applies to wounds that would be fatal. So if something that would normally kill them, that would just be healed automatically if they're in a proper mental state. Because if they're down on themselves, they kind of lose access to the powers. It's a very emotional thing. But minor injuries and self-inflicted wounds, they must suffer through. They don't automatically heal on those.
That sucks.
Yeah. So that's something I wish that they made more clear in this book, because that's something that I know and I like to tell people. So now you know.
You know, something that I don't think I saw in here, abilities and limitations, is at least from that one episode where Piper and Leo ended up like swapping powers, is that his Whitelighter powers came and are operated by love.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Everybody has a trigger. Piper's was fear. Prue's was anger. They never really told you what Phoebe's was.
No, it's true. Hmm.
Paige's was fear as well. But Phoebe was just what? General interest. I'm curious about you. I'm feeling very curious today. Oh, premonition!
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the elders section, they talk about how I love this. Where is it? Elders can listen at will, but do not unless they catch words or phrases that attract their attention. But how are words going to attract their attention if they're not already listening?
Right? It must be like those Like those the bot spyware, they look for certain keywords.
Right. Like, oh, that one came through the system. Let's go listen now. Yeah, and I love how they call Cupids Cupid agents because we only had one so far. We don't know about them as a whole species now.
They're dead babies with wings.
They are. They are. It's terrible. It's just so sad.
But it's kind of pretty at the same time. Like they're getting a second chance.
So beautiful. Then we have.
I don't feel heard.
I know. I believe you. I think
I'm
it's
just
beautiful. I think it is beautiful because the babies do get to live on. They get another life, just like a Whitelighter who has died gets another life to do good in the magical world. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a list of elders, a list of good witches.
Ooh, Max Franklin.
Max Franklin's so cool. There was something about him. What was it? I don't know if I read it in the last book or something, but they said like if his power is like psychokinesis and his power is the ability to move things that he can't see, why didn't he just close his eyes and untie himself?
Oops.
Actually, the one that I really, really liked was Kevin in Witches and
Kevin,
Tights.
the elder? Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the one like where he's like making comic books and stuff, and then they come to
He
life.
brings
Right?
his drawings to life, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, at the expense of like this is why I'm glad that I'm doing this virtually now so that I don't get punched in the arm. So I watched the other Charmed as well.
Okay.
And I know I'm a terrible person, but so like they had their original like 3 sisters as well, and then one of them passed away, and then they brought on another sister, and the new sister had that ability to like paint and draw things, and then they would come to life. So
Okay.
I thought that was kind of fun too, that at least they kind of showed that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
To be fair, I watched 3 seasons of it. I just never finished it.
Yeah, after a while I was just like, ugh. But
Yeah.
I'm like I stuck with it because I'm one of those people who just like I stick with things just to see how it ends. They did, spoiler alert, but I doubt anybody on this like podcast would ever like really want to watch it anyway. But spoiler alert, last episode, you find out that they're kind of like in a different
Universe and
yeah,
the
slightly
VHS tapes and the
yes,
Yeah,
and then you do
about
get
all
a
that.
and you do get to see the door of the manor. So
Badly made. They created a terrible set that was not accurate. Pisses me off. And then
I was going to warn you of this, Cassie.
The only thing they shot in the actual manor was the exterior, like zooming out with a drone. They were never actually there because my friend told me that they were there 2 weeks after I was there, and they just did a drone, and then they built a really bad set. Ugh. Anyway,
they tried.
too little, too late. That's all. I
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, sorry. I'm switching. Okay, switching topics. Stevie, here on this page where it talks about Stevie, can I just vent for a second?
Sure.
It says a Wicca who welcomes Phoebe and Prue into this. A Wicca? Are you kidding me? A Wicca?
She's one of those Wicca. Wicca.
She's a Wicca.
Wiccan.
Yeah.
Wiccan.
We can be Wiccan. Yeah. How insensitive.
Yeah.
Good times. And then we have another section of benevolent beings, where it brings up like the angels of destiny, or there's the Cupid agents, fairies, fire starters, nymphs, that kind of stuff. We have this beautiful picture of Scout Taylor Compton as a fairy on wires on a green screen flying around.
Mhm.
And I'm just reminded of all the stock footage that she wasn't paid for. And
Oh, so can I also vent again just a little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit. So I was telling you about this, Kevin, but like for a while back when I was more into the pagan phase of my life, I was studying and learning about ancient pre-Christian Celtic traditions and mythology, all of that kind of stuff. And in that, I learned about the Tuatha De Danann. And
Ooh.
so you see there under Chosen One on that page in the Old Black Magic, it talks about the evil witch Tuatha. Tuatha. That is cultural appropriation. There's Tuatha De Danann, and they are the gods, the tribe of the gods. Thank you very much. Okay, that's my 2 cents.
Well, we've talked about them quite a bit, but we pronounced it very badly. So thank you for that pronunciation.
You're welcome.
So because I always like Tuatha De Danann. I would say that all the time. But so
Yeah.
say that again. How is it pronounced?
Tuatha De Danann.
Ooh, that's so much sexier.
Yeah.
Tuatha De Danann.
Stop
Ooh.
it. Oh my god, there's so much white stuff.
Let my white people go. Yeah. So, and then the final part, we have the benevolent beings, but then we have the not necessarily evil beings.
Mhm.
Where they're talking about avatars, and this is before season 7 avatars. This is just the season 5 avatars that we see. Angel of Death, the aggressor,
Finn. I love Finn.
Finn. He has no belly button.
Yay!
And we have Seamus. Oh, Seamus.
Oh, Seamus.
God. The shillelagh.
The shillelagh. I've been polishing my shillelagh.
Listen to our episode Magically Malicious, the comic
Malicious,
content
yeah.
episode 2. Oh my gosh, we have a great time with that one, and all the masturbating leprechauns in that issue. It's amazing. I was on shillelagh polishing duty.
All the white stuff.
So yeah, that's the not necessarily evil, and that's that end of this section.
Yeah, it was more just informative. Nothing really new.
Well, I told you to put that in your canonical hat
Canonical.
for later.
Yeah.
These are all my canonical notes. Now I got things.
Oh shit.
Let me take a drink of water. Okay. So, this book says that a tenet of charmed powers is that they cannot be used on good witches. That rule only applies to Piper's freezing power. Because, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I got backtracked for a second. Somewhere in that book, it was talking about the different powers that the sisters can do and the
Right.
limitations. And in there, it said that Piper's power cannot exist outside of the room or space that she's in. And it talks about when she was in the phone booth with I don't want to
The
say it.
Wendigo?
Yes, thank you. So I have an issue with that because she has used her freezing powers outside. So what is the range on that? You know, like, because when they were outside and what's his face was trying to get like photographic or video proof of them being witches,
Mhm.
and so he pushes like the baby stroller out, and you know, Piper freezes it. Or like when they go into the future, when people are burning witches and everything, and like Piper freezes the whole courtyard.
Everything!
You know, like, I know she freezes like everything. So I call bullshit on whoever wrote that.
So was it actually is a real thing. Early on, it had to be in the room that she was in. Outside specifically, because it's outside, there is a range, and that range increased the more powerful she got. But that was a rule that she could only be in the room. Sometimes she would stick her hand out of the door and freeze outside to another room. She would do that. But yeah, as her powers grew, it became more irrelevant. So, but yeah, good catch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, it cannot be used on good witches. We've seen telekinesis used on Phoebe, flown across the room. We've seen Phoebe's visions used on the sisters. She gets premonitions of her sisters all the time. And Paige is always orbiting them around. So, their powers can be used on other witches, other good witches.
I think they would have fixed this if they wrote they cannot be used negatively on good witches.
But-
I mean, you know how many times they like cast spells and it backfires on all three of them?
You're right.
True.
Right.
Like the truth spell.
Yeah. And even Prue did fling Phoebe across the room. Granted, she didn't know it was her, but she did fling her across the room. She shut the door on her so she couldn't leave the house. So there's things like that. So there's some gray area there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, and they did bring up the Nexus in here, and especially in the importance of being Phoebe. I talked about this before, but Charmed always confused the Nexus and the Woogie Man because they're not the same thing. But eventually, at one point, they blended together and they became the same thing. And I just want to talk about how they fucked up. They fucked that up.
Preach.
So there's that. They talk about they say Phoebe was transported to the future during her vision in the Eyes Have It, which isn't technically true. That was known as an astral premonition. And that's where you're essentially projected into your premonition, and you can interact with it. You can be injured from it. You can feel things from it. You can even talk to people in it. So while she didn't really travel to the future, she traveled to her premonition, which was in her psychic future. Oh, there's this. The episode A Witch in Time was referenced without the full title. They put Witch in Time. Not A Witch in Time. They put Witch in Time. It's like Witch in Time, Witch in Time.
I'm sure a Wicca wrote that.
Wicca wrote that. And then they say Kit is often present at crucial magical events, such as the murder of a witch. That made it sound like Kit just happened to be there.
Yeah, it just kind of sounds like she's failed at her job and she shouldn't have been made a human. You're the worst familiar ever.
It's like, and she was literally Serena's familiar. Like she got fed by Serena before she died. It wasn't like she was just there. I'm there because a crucial magical event's gonna happen. Like, no, she lived there. So the wording made it sound like completely different. Inspector Rodriguez was called a warlock again.
Ah!
He's an upper level demon. No warlock.
I'm Kevin.
I'm a curmudgeon. It's fine. Charmed curmudgeon. And this was interesting to me. It says that the spirit board was enchanted to react when the girls reunited. And we talked about this in the last book. Like, was Grams moving the spirit board? Was it just magic? This says it was enchanted. Where did they get that from? That was never stated anywhere. They never said that the spirit board was enchanted.
Mm-mm.
Like, did you just make that up because you felt like making it up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I imagine that's the case.
Yeah.
It was totally Grams. It was Grams the whole time.
It had to be.
Tell me otherwise.
Right. It had to
same
be.
thing with the book. Who turns the pages? Grams.
Yes.
Grams is always popping up. Like once Grams pops through as a ghost, then she just won't go away.
She doesn't go away.
She doesn't. She's always messing. Grams is always meddling. Gotta love her.
Yeah. This book called Out of Sight, Blindsided again. It's not blindsided, it's out of sight. Lots of these books get it wrong. Out of sight. Okay. And then my final one is it says Shadow's Witch, the one from Pre-Witched. Shadow's Witch, name unknown. We do know her name. It's not stated in the episode, but we do know her name. She's credited as this. Her name is Ariel. Played by Sherry Sam. She played Ariel, the witch that got killed and became a ghost. And fun fact about this, Sherry Sam wrote a song called Charmed Chant for this Charmed episode.
Oh.
Because she wrote a lot of chant kind of music. And as a result, she is now a member of ASCAP.
Oh, yes.
So, get it, Ariel Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but she did give the most powerful monologue, you know. Evil exists for one reason, to spread loss. Be careful not to lose each other. Break my heart. Okay. And that's all I got for canonical. Not too much. And that's the end. So let's get into next week's PS4 poll.
Piper. You mean it's just you and Prue, huh?
Phoebe? Phoebe, you there?
And a big hello to you too, Penny.
Come on, Patty. The rest is up to them.
Paige. My name is Paige. Another P, imagine that.
P is for poll. So, which good magical creature would you be out of these four? I know there's lots you would want to be, but out of these four, leprechaun, fairy, elf, or nymph?
It's no fair because I'm already one of those.
I know. There's a fairy.
Well, I wouldn't want to be a I don't want to be a leprechaun.
No.
But you get to polish your shillelagh all day.
Sold.
How big is my shillelagh?
It comes in all different sizes.
Well, all different
Pick the
sizes.
one-
Okay.
Yeah, it's like your wand. You pick the one that calls to you.
I think based on my personality, I would just go with fairy.
Okay.
Go the little fairy, I think.
I'd probably be an elf. I think I'm going to be an elf. I could be like elf nanny and be like a bitch and be awesome.
I mean, I'd say nymph because that sounds fun and kinky, but I don't want. They really portrayed them as like brain
Ditzy.
dead, essentially. Yeah, very ditzy. So I wouldn't
Are you
mind
sure that's
getting
not
busy.
perfect for you?
You slut! How dare you! I feel targeted and seen at the same time.
I don't even know you yet. I'm throwing stuff at you. That's how comfortable I am.
Yeah. We get the coolest people on the show.
We do.
Oh, Sean, I don't know if you noticed. Cassie and I are both wearing purple for you today.
Oh, wow. Thank you. This is my favorite.
It's my favorite color too.
Mhm. I would probably join Cassie in being a fairy just because I usually like elves, but like the elves are kind of like ugly and charmed. They're ugly. And like nymphs have a lot of sex, but they're dumb. I don't want to be dumb. I want to be fairy. I'm
I
gonna
thought
fly.
Elf Nanny was very beautiful.
You're also half blind in one eye, so there's that.
I mean, she was just short with pointy ears. Now's the time where we say, "Where can we find you?"
You can find me at your local Starbucks. No, let's see. So I am a audiobook narrator right now. At least I'm getting a little bit more there. So if you wanted to listen to me talk for hours on end, you can find a couple titles on Audible. I just finished doing Veiled Phoenix by Huckleberry Rar. I am on the Facebook as Cassandra with a K. No last name or anything. I'm like Cher on there. But basically that's what I've been up to lately. I'm also in an acoustic musical duo with my husband. We go by the Wicked Wombats.
Yeah.
and a Wicked Wombats. And I used to, well, technically I'm still in this metal band, but we're kind of like defunct at this point. But I still love the heck out of them. But the band is called Mercy Isle. So if anybody wants to go online and check out Mercy Isle, you can see myself singing on the stages.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been up to and kind of where you can find me. And so, yeah.
Sean loves metal, so Sean will definitely check you out. Yes, get it, mama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah.
I mean, if you liked her singing in Charmed the Musical, you get to see her be like a metal singer. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Definitely the European metal scene. Like, well, me and my husband were the only two Americans in it, and the other four guys in the band are all Dutch. So, like the music scene over in the Netherlands and everything, it's very incestuous. So, if you wanted to play like the whatever it's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or something, you can probably do that in the metal scene with me by like 2 degrees. So, it's pretty fun. But yes, definitely more along the lines of like Delane or Nightwish for anybody who
Nightwish
might know. Yes.
Yay,
Nightwish.
Delane.
Oh, Delane was so good with Charlotte
Yeah.
West. Check it out. You will love it.
Cool. All right, so Clarence Callsby, where can we find you?
That's my name today.
last week
Well-
was Portensia Paulsby. Now it's Clarence Callsby.
Yes. Well, you can find me, Sean, a Wicca, on Sean Threat on Instagram. That'll link you to all of our past shows. That'll link you to our TikTok, our YouTube, and my project. I can only say one because I still only have one book out. I still haven't finished the second one. I'm not doing it. Blah, blah, blah.
So Solving for X, Sean and I are there. Solving for X, yes, beautiful. Our X-Men podcast. and then you can follow me and my personal Instagram. That's where I mostly be, KJEEZY87. And this podcast is Words of the Witches, all the places except for the other one, the X-Twitter one. That's Words of Witches. And yeah, email us at wordsofwitchespod@gmail.com if you want to email and send us questions and concerns and nice things. And write a review if you want to do that, and rate us if you want to do that. I'm talking too much. But yeah, all those things. So, see you later, spellworders, hair flip. Your destiny still awaits.
Spellworders.
This podcast back at the manor.